Hey everyone, I'm Carrie and this is the No Bullshit Spirituality podcast. And today I'm going to be talking about something that might be triggering for some, but once you take on board this concept, so much can change in your life and you can become and you'll see and feel the difference in becoming the true creator of the life that you actually want to live. So what am I going to be talking about? The role of responsibility and choice. I'm going to start with a little story. So many times I hear from people, oh, aren't you so lucky to be living the life that you're living? Oh, you're living the dream, Carrie. I wish I could live that life. Or something along those lines. And I'm not going to lie, I get a little bit knocked about that because my experience of my life is a direct result of the choices that I have made. And the same stands for you. Whatever you are experiencing, it is a direct result of the choices that you have made in your life. Now, I chose to live this life. Now, you might be there thinking, right, hang on, Carrie, there are definitely things in my life that if I had a choice, I wouldn't have or I wouldn't experience. I get it, right? But what we have to understand is that we create absolutely everything in our lives, everything. And when you can accept that universal truth, when you accept the responsibility for having created everything in your life, you then can take on board that responsibility and then you get to choose how you respond going forward. Now, there are some catastrophic and devastating things that some of us do experience in our life. I know because I have experienced some myself. And I often think, what the absolute fuck did I do creating that? But before we even manifested here as this human being in our lives, our souls, our higher selves had this great idea of, okay, I'm going to manifest as this human being. I'm going to create these scenarios so that I can experience these emotions and I can learn these lessons and I can grow and expand and develop as a spiritual human being in this way. So I'm going to put this situation in my life, I'm going to put these people in my life, and I'm going to have this as my circumstances. Off you go, Carrie, go and learn, go and grow, go and overcome, stretch your strengths, challenge yourself, and become the more expanded spiritual being that you can become. And then you manifest. And you as this human being, you're like, what the fuck? But it's a soul choice. It's a soul contract. We might not like it, but we've already agreed to experience it. And we are never given anything that we cannot handle in our lives. Never, because, well, why would our higher selves, why would our souls do that to us? That's not the case. We can always handle it. Like I said, we might not like it, but we can definitely deal with it. And how we respond to what happens to us in our lives is entirely our choice. And as I said, even not choosing is a choice. If you choose to relinquish choosing and putting the power outside of yourself and allowing somebody else or something else to choose for you, that's your choice. So going back to these comments that I get very often, oh, you're so lucky, or, oh, I wish I could live your life. The only difference between me and that person are the choices that we have made. I've chosen this and they've chosen that. Let's look at the example of me traveling around the world, deciding to stay here in Thailand, to live here in Thailand, and to go and travel regularly, train Muay Thai, live on a beach. I don't, but I did. Right? Well, I chose to not have children. I chose to pack up my bags and say goodbye to everything I've ever known and everyone I've ever known and leave. I chose to put my trust and faith into my path here in Thailand. I chose to take up Muay Thai at the age of 40. I chose to create my online business so that I could have the freedom of movement and choice and travel. Those were my choices. And someone might sit there and go, oh yeah, but I've got this job, I've got a mortgage, I've got 3 kids. I can't make those choices anymore. Well, you can. You could choose to rent your house out, or you could choose to sell your house. You could choose to leave your 3 kids behind and pack your bags and leave. I mean, unlikely that you're going to do that, but you could. The choices are always there. And as I said, the experience of life that you have is a direct result of the choices that you make. And some choices we make consciously, some choices we make unconsciously. We don't realize that we're choosing these things because maybe we're in this pattern of going down the path of least resistance, or maybe we're just stuck in these repeated patterns of behavior. We don't realize that there is actually an unconscious choice. But when we take full responsibility for everything that happens in our life, you get to choose how you respond. And when you choose how you respond, then everything can become a conscious choice. And when you are a conscious creator of your life, you get to choose how it turns out. But how do you know what it is that you want to choose? So many people are disconnected from who they are, what they want, their true will, their honest desires. That's why you allow other people to choose for you. Your parents, your teachers, society, the government. You outsource this power. You outsource your choice because you don't know who you are and you don't know what you truly want. And even if you do know what it is that you want, sometimes you might experience blocks to believing that you could ever have it. Or maybe you do know what you want, but you just don't know how to create it. So therefore you don't choose it, because you can't see how to make it become your reality. And that's when we make the choice to go down the path of least resistance, do what we've always done, or allow someone else to make that choice for us. Just go along with the masses because it's easier. Sometimes they are conscious choices to do that, but sometimes they are unconscious choices. You don't realize that that's what you're doing. It takes courage to face who you really are. It takes courage to admit to yourself and to the world what your true dreams are, what your true desires are. Sometimes it's easier not to face up to this truth. Sometimes it's easier to not feel the emotions associated to wanting to create something different. Sometimes it's easier to not go to these places that we fear, to not heal the traumas that stop us from creating the future that we actually want to have. And that's why sometimes it's easier to choose to settle rather than to expand your strengths and your confidence and your abilities and your skills and to expand into your potential. So just notice, observe, without judgment, what are you choosing? Are you choosing to settle? Are you choosing the path of least resistance? Are you choosing to outsource your power? Are you choosing to deny the fact that your life is a direct experience of your choices? Are you choosing to deny responsibility for everything that occurs in your life? You can always make a different choice. You can choose to take that responsibility, and then you can choose how you want to respond, what you do want to create going forward. And you can choose to make not necessarily the easiest of choices, but the ones that are right for you, given the life that you want to experience. Now, if you need help with identifying what your true desires are, if you need help with finding the courage to make these choices, if you need help with taking the bold action that's needed in order to bring this reality forward so that you can have the life that you actually want, then you can choose to work with me. And there are so many ways that we can work together. You can work with me on a one-to-one. You can choose to come on my Warrior's Choice retreat that's happening in August of 2026, because I don't know when you're listening to this. Head over to my website and take a look to see what one is going to be most appropriate for you. But I do hope that you choose to get into contact with me. Let me know your thoughts about what it is I have shared today. If you found this discussion of any interest whatsoever, please do consider sharing it on with somebody else. And maybe you will choose to subscribe, to follow, and to come back for the next episode. I hope that you do. In the meantime, I do hope that you find all the courage that you can so that you can dream bigger and step into the life that you actually want to have. Speak to you all soon, my loves. Have a wonderful rest of your day.